where secrets hide. In Tampa Street, she seeks out lies. With a sharp eye, she'll reveal the truth. Justice calls and she pursues. From county jails to hallowed courts, she finds truth where they distort. Fearless heart and mind so keen, Sam unravels tangled seams. The truth is buried deep in files. Fairness is what they try to hide, but Sam prevails. She's got your back. With grit and grace, she never lacks. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Footsteps echo in the night. She chases justice with the light. A warrior for justice for all. She won't stop when she hits a wall. Florida Pisam is her name. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Uncover lies, play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may.
Hello, good evening. It's Saturday, August 16th, 2025, if you can believe it. It's August, you guys. Oh my God. Well, it was August the last time I streamed. It feels like I haven't been here in a year. I want to wave. Hi. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad to be back with you. I feel like I haven't been on YouTube in forever, even though it's only been 2 weeks, because I'm in no one's chat. I've watched no one's videos. I'm in work nonstop mode, and that means no YouTube for me. So it's good to see you guys. Hi, Laura. I hope your storm is passing. We're likely to get one at any moment. So, here's hoping that the power doesn't go out on me. I see Great Gams, K-Telly Pit Love, Squeegee, my dad, Trial TV Live, my mama, Miss Alexis. Who else we got? Laura Long, hello and welcome. Did I miss anybody? Laura says weather's horrible tonight. Yeah, we've been Michigan. Hello, getting the cats fed. I won't tell him. No, I just fed Henry so that he will not hopefully come and bite me during the stream. But you never know. You never know. So, thank you, Aaron, Trial TV Live. Hey, there's Miss Kelly. Yeah. Did I cut my hair? Well, it's in a bun because I didn't do anything with it. So, no, not really. New glasses. No. Squeegee's trolling me. Tell him to stop. All right, you guys, I got an interesting show for you tonight. I hope you will find it interesting. I found it really interesting. Which, you know, I like to think my content is somewhat interesting. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a recent trial in Jacksonville. And I know of this trial because of a case here. So let me explain. And let me get through a little spiel I've got here for you, okay? I'm not going to be able to show you all of what I would like to show you. It is all of the things that I will be discussing is publicly available on other social media platforms, including YouTube. I can't show you these things because the content includes real weapons and a lot of language that might get me kicked off the platform, and I could also face some copyright issues. So if this is a topic that you're interested in, I have linked a video down below called Jacksonville's A Deadly Gang War. And I suggest checking out the channel called Trap Lore Ross and his second channel, Trap More Ross. On his main channel, Trap Lore Ross's videos are very well researched and detailed. In fact, law enforcement has even used graphics from his Jacksonville video to demonstrate the members of the two gangs we'll be talking about tonight. And then on his second channel, he provides unscripted commentary, reaction commentary, including commentary on the trial we're going to talk about tonight. I've watched his commentary on this trial, and even he admits where he made a mistake in his original video and shows exactly where he was mistaken. Ross is able to show you content that I cannot. So what I want you to know is that as I've previously discussed, I've already experienced shadow banning and age restriction in my content, and I'm not eager to go down that road again. I do not understand why some channels are able to show certain content and some aren't, but I do know what has happened to my channel. So please don't argue about censorship in the comments. I'd like it very much if you could just focus on the topic and not about what I can and can't do. I told you before, I lost 7 weeks worth of growth, if you will, because of my Ellen Greenberg content. So with that being said, yeah, I just would very much, I very much am interested to hear what you guys have to say about the topic. But not so much on, oh my God, I really lost my train of thought, you guys, but not so much on what I can and can't show you and why I don't show you. And I have used other sources besides Trap Lore Ross. I see somebody saying in the comments, Adventure and Aaron, welcome to the channel, that she thinks Ross's videos on the YSL trial were very biased and he got a lot of stuff wrong. And that may very well be. I can say that for the purposes of what I have viewed on his channel in the video that I have linked below, I have been able to, in large part, corroborate what he has said. I don't think anybody's going to get it all right all of the time. So even if you're not rap fans, don't fear, because it's not about the rap music. We're talking about what the state introduced at this trial. So we're going to be talking about a trial that just ended a couple of weeks ago. It's the trial of Hakeem Robinson, also known as ksoo, and his cousin and co-defendant Leroy Whitaker Jr., ATK Scotty, for the shooting of Charles McCormick, aka Lil Buck. A co-defendant named Dominique Barner, aka Butta, testified against ksoo and Scotty in the trial. And then finally, Hakeem Robinson Sr., aka Blue, don't worry, I've got some charts for you, who is ksoo's father, was also charged, testified against his son. Hakeem's half-brother was also charged, but is being tried separately. I chose to talk to you guys about this case because in my capacity as an investigator for the defense for the upcoming Hillsborough case, I had to do a lot of research. And I think what the state introduced in this trial is really fascinating. And I want to talk about it. I want to hear your opinions. So the case that we're talking about tonight, it has been tried. So I'm not here to argue the facts. I want to talk about the information that the state's introducing and the way in which they did it. So there were 2 people on trial in the recent trial, and there were 2 juries. And I want to make sure that I say that because one of the witness testimony, you'll see the guy, it's like he's watching a tennis match as he's talking, he's going back and forth. It's because he's speaking to both juries. So I have learned in my dive into this world that there's a ton of misinformation out there. And there is a ton of misinformation out there on trials that are getting tens of thousands of views. So, is it possible that I have things wrong? Yeah. But like I said, I'm not here to talk about the facts of the case, and I'm giving you a very skeletal, like the most basic, bare bones outline of it. And that's not the important part, right? It's about the evidence. So I want to clear up a couple of things that I have seen on the internet. One, people have to be tried and convicted, or they must plead guilty and be or plead no contest and be adjudicated before they can be sentenced. You can't just be arrested for a crime, show up in front of a judge for your case, and then boom, you're gone. It doesn't work that way, you guys. So please don't believe that. No one, to my knowledge, has been killed while awaiting trial for any of the cases regarding the people in tonight's video. The people that are, I'm going to talk to you in a second about the Hillsborough case. Nobody has been killed waiting for trial. Nobody has been killed while they're in prison. That's not true. Okay. So you guys are smart people. You have to remember to use your common sense and fact check. Okay. So I try very hard here to not speculate about things. I try to bring you facts because that's what I deal in is facts. So I want to talk to you for a second about the Hillsborough case. This case that we're talking about tonight, I refer to it as the ksoo trial, is related to a killing that took place here in Tampa in 2024. The person that was killed, his name was Julio Fulio. He was a Jacksonville drill rapper. 5 people have been charged in his case, 4 men and 1 woman. The 4 men are facing the death penalty. Their trial date is April 8th of 2026. Alicia Andrews, who is the female co-defendant in that case, her trial begins on Monday. She's the only one not facing the death penalty. Okay, so I want to make that very clear. I've seen all kinds of interesting things floating around out there in the world. I have been preparing for a trial. I was not preparing for Alicia Andrews' trial. I am not working on that. I'm not working on her case. The trial I'm getting ready for is not one I have discussed publicly. Okay, I can tell you about it afterwards. It's going to start in September. We are, 2.5 weeks away from jury selection. It's a case I've been working on for 4 years. So it will probably be publicized to some extent. But I just want to be super, super clear. I am involved in the Hillsborough Julio Fulio case, but not the trial that starts on Monday. Okay, so that's how I kind of came across what we're going to talk about tonight. So I just want to be really clear about that. Okay, so let me just check in with you guys real quick. Um, mm, 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 mm. Thank you guys, for your support. Hello, Karen Cole. Nice to see you. Are you up in the middle of the night? Adventure and Aaron. Like I said, as far as I've been able to corroborate, yes, I'm getting. I believe that Trapler Ross has done a decent job with Jacksonville. Like I said, I don't think anybody's going to get it right all of the time. And I have even heard, a reporter. It's not Brian Enton, but one of the other reporters who recently. Oh, I just realized I can't see all my chat. Sorry, guys. He just admitted to getting a fact wrong about the Idaho 4 case. So, it's not, we're not going to get it right all of the time, but I am doing the best I can to make sure that I don't bring you things that are not truthful. Yeah, so K Tally Pitlove says, I thought it was very unique to have two different juries at the same time. So yeah, like I'm aware of that happens, right? I am real interested to know if cases that I have that have multiple co-defendants, like 4 and 5, if we're ever going to see multiple juries. So far, the answer to that is no. And the case that I'm working on that's getting ready to go to trial, that one has 5 co-defendants. I don't even think we have I was trying to figure out if we have a courtroom that could accommodate 5 defense teams, the prosecution, and more than one jury in Tampa. And I've been in the biggest courtroom, and I think the answer to that is no. Yes, Charles Jones is Julio Fulio. Kate Telly Pitlove, you are correct. So Aaron, Adventure, and Aaron. Good to know. I had no clue the other 4 defendants were facing capital. Yes, they have all been charged with the death penalty. And we actually double-checked before we came on tonight. We checked in the clerk of courts to see, because we thought it was possible that somebody else had severed, but so far they have not. So like I said, female, she did not waive her right to a speedy trial. She was pregnant at the time she was arrested. She should have given birth to the baby back in February. And her trial will start on Monday. It will be the same judge. So I will actually be, I'll have an earbud in and be listening as I'm trying to prepare for the other trial with 5 defendants, because I really want to see how the judge is handling that. All the things. Hello, OnlyFans. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Okay, Karen Cole. I don't blame you for going to sleep soon. Have there been any pretrial hearings for Fulio yet? No, not any motion hearings as it is to the 5 co-defendants. Just like I said, Alicia Andrews was in court for her pretrial. So in Hillsborough County, the way it works is usually we get a last pretrial hearing about 7 days before jury selection begins. In my upcoming case, normally we're using 3 days to pick a jury. And then they're giving, instead of starting the trial on the following Monday, we're not starting it until Wednesday, because they're giving the state 2 days to catch their breath after the Alicia Andrews trial, because apparently it's the same state's attorney. So anyway, there's all of that. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions. So I'm going to try to get you through this and get you to the interesting part. I appreciate you, Karen Cole. I really do. All right, you guys. So let's see. And the best thing ever happened. Taylor Swift announced a new album. I'm so excited. okay, so I just have to say this. Her boyfriend is a football player, and he has a podcast that airs here on YouTube. Over 1 million people were watching it live, like as the premiere live. And I was just sitting there watching, and I'm thinking, I have 18 people watching my live streams. Like, I can't even imagine having 100 people watch me at the same time. Can you imagine like 1 million people watching a live? Like, I wasn't even paying. That chat flew by so fast. It was crazy. As of the last I saw, that video had over 10 million views. So that's very interesting. Hey, Amy Crew, good to see you. Yeah, I don't. Adventure and Aaron, I can't imagine trying to pick 4 separate juries either. Yes, Showgirl is the new era. I do have the best 18 people. 19 now. All right, you guys, let's try to set this up, because it kind of made my head warp a little bit. So what we're talking about tonight is we're talking about the evidence admitted at trial, but I'm going to start with some basics. And so I'm going to talk up to you about what's called drill rap. Drill songs are diss songs between rival gangs where the rapper mocks or disses dead ops or members of rivals killed in gang violence. I could spend a very long time trying to explain to you the history of the war between the 2 gangs in Jacksonville, but that's not why we're here. And again, like I said, I personally think that Trap Lore Ross has done good content on this, DJ Academics, for those of you who are interested in it. So information is out there. I've also seen some really, really wrong information. So I'm just going to, I don't know. I'm going to try to present this to you the best I can, as simply as I can, just enough for you to hopefully be able to follow the point, which is the evidence. So on one side, we have ATK, which stands for Ace's Top Killers, or Aim to Kill, depending on who you ask. The defendants from this case are members of ATK. On the other side, because we really want to make it not confusing, we have KTA, which may or may not stand for Kill Them All. The victim in this case was I'm not going to say he was a member. I'm going to say he was had an association or affiliation of some kind with KTA. And just because you guys have never heard of the people that I'm going to mention doesn't mean that no one has, because their own channels have millions of subscribers. Their videos have millions of views. Okay. Clearly I sit here a midlife Taylor Swift fan. I like some rap music, some hip hop music. Drill rap is not to my taste. So what to know is that these are very young men for the most part, and they jumped off the porch, or basically armed themselves and took to the streets when they were barely teenagers. In my opinion, they are publicly known assassins, because they essentially confess and brag on the internet about who they're going to kill and having killed them. And so it's just really different. So in spring of 2021, social media kind of took notice of Jacksonville, Florida, because that is when ATK rappers Spinna Bins, Wappa Witta Choppa, Young and Ace, and Fast Mini Goon released Who I Smoke. Hold on, let me remove that. Why doesn't that want to add? Oh, don't be like that. Hold on, you guys. My slide doesn't want to add. Here, maybe no? Nope. No, it doesn't think so. There we go. Okay. Really? There we go. Okay, so this is a thumbnail from Who I Smoke, which is deceptive. it's a really disturbing song, but it's very catchy because it uses a pop song, Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles, in the lyrics. There's many, many reasons why I cannot play this for you, nor do I think that it's necessary for me to. The word smoke refers to who I smoke is basically who I kill, right? Or who is dead. Who I smoke, and then they have named off people. And one of the names that is featured very prominently in this video, or in this song, was a young man who went by the name of Bibby. And Bibby was extremely close to Julio, who was again killed here in Tampa in 2024. So in response, then Julio, I know it's not a great photo. In response, he released a song called When I See You, as well as more than that, but beatbox remix Bibby Flow and When I See You. He also sampled a pop song, which made it very interesting. And when I say disrespect in these songs, I can't wrap my head around it. These young men, while they may be talented, they're killers, and they're killers who make music about killing. And social media allows for the music to be made and released basically in real time. So that is, of course, coming into evidence, right? The stuff is going to come into evidence if you are out there proclaiming it to the world, what you are doing or what you are going to do. So let's take a real quick look at who some of the people are here. So up in the top right, or top left, sorry, is Hakeem Robinson, aka Ksoo. He was the shooter for the case. The victim was Charles McCormick, aka Little Buck. Ksoo's cousin was on trial with him. His name was Leroy ATK Scotty Whitaker. He was in the vehicle and armed. Now, two who were also charged with different charges and testified against both were actually Ksoo's father, who goes by Blue, and Dominique Barner, aka Butter, who was the driver of the car. The victim was Charles McCormick, like I said, aka Little Buck. And what happened was he released a song. Basically dissing Willie, because on January 15th, 2019, Willie Addison, whose name was Big Goon, along with four others, including Blue, were shot and while they were traveling in a vehicle after leaving a performance in Jacksonville. Willie was killed. Charles McCormick then released a song dissing Willie. So McCormick was essentially killed in retaliation for the song. The state also, there's social media posts I also cannot show you, just for there are many reasons. But ksoo used Instagram, posted a couple of incriminating confessions, if you will, including a caption with the songs, and it said bye bye bye, or it said bye bye, or bye bye bye. So I'm going to show you a little bit of Butta's testimony. So yeah, okay. Amy has a really good question. Are the groups musical acts or street gangs? Okay, so the police refer to them as gangs, right? But if you are, and I struggled all day with like how to write this out, because I got to thinking about it And I was like, we're not used to gangs rapping about their gang act. And that's a lie. That's totally a lie, right? Because even in the 80s, that's exactly what was happening. That's why we know of many of the big name rappers we do, is they were Snoop Dogg is one that like everybody knows, right? So he is he is a famous one. Dr. Dre, they NWA, Compton, Los Angeles, the 1980s, early 1990s. Kelly, my moderator, she was in LA during that time. So it's like, I think about when I get gang cases that are like RICO cases, where they're I think about like the Latin Kings that have like a hierarchy to them, and they have like mandatory meetings and like a manual, like a handbook, and like all these things that they have, the rules and bylaws and all this stuff. I don't get that that's what's happening here, right? I don't know that they're engaged in anything for profit. I also haven't been tasked with looking into that, nor have I come across it. So, it is very confusing. It is very confusing. So anyway, those were East Coast versus West Coast. This is extremely isolated to Jacksonville, and really and truly, like, I want to just show you about what came in at trial. So I'm going to share my screen. We all know how great this goes for me. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to watch a little bit of Butta. Okay, he was the driver of the vehicle that had ksoo and Scotty in it. And he decided to flip and testify against those two. So we're going to watch a little bit of his testimony. If you have on earphones or you have earbuds in, this is your warning. The music is going to come up. It's a very short snippet. Tiny. It was introduced at trial, but for me anyway, it comes up really loud. So this is your warning for that. And now let me see if I remember how to share my screen with you guys. Let me see. Okay, remove that. No, I don't want that. Why do I not remember? Don't want to do that. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Okay, share screen. Let's do that. Okay, share this. All right. Okay, warning, sound. Again, it's going to be a very short snippet.
In your blood, she we been smoking on Wedley. Parker screaming up for help. Head shot instantly. It ain't no fair, no.
Now, Mr. Barner, what does the lyric "smoking on Willie" mean?
Okay, if he knows.
The audio will get better in just a moment.
If you know, what does the lyric "smoking on Willie" mean?
You smoking on a dead person.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's a bad thing.
Was, excuse me, Abdul Robinson Jr., Kareem, aware of this song?
Yes, sir.
What about Hakeem Robinson?
Yes, sir.
Leroy Whitaker?
Yes, sir.
Were they upset over that song?
Yes, sir.
After you heard the song, did you attempt to reach out to Charles McCormick?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how did you do that?
Through my fake page.
And why did you do that?
Basically to tell him like what he was doing wasn't cool.
Was, to your knowledge, Charles McCormick involved in any way in the shooting of Willie Addison?
No, sir.
What does it mean on the street if someone's described as soft?
Okay, did you hear that? He just said that the victim in this case was not at all involved in the killing of Willie, right? Who is the person, the victim in this case, dissed. but he made a song about it. So that's why he had to then be eliminated.
Like, not capable, nothing. That's street.
Okay. Was Charles McCormick known as Soft?
Yes, sir.
Towards the end of 2019, were you able to find out where Charles McCormick was living?
Yes, sir.
And how did you get that information?
Through Core.
Say that again?
Through Core.
And what is CORE?
It's a website for like public information.
Is it the clerk's public website?
Yes, sir.
And on that public website, what did you find that provided some of the information you were looking for?
Well, I had seen that McCormick got pulled over, and it showed his address on his license. It showed his car and his license plate.
So when you say he got pulled over, did he receive any type of citation?
Yes, sir.
Did you see that?
Yes, sir.
Now, when it had the address, did you get the unit number or just the address for the apartment complex?
Just the address for the apartment complex.
Do you recall where that apartment complex was located?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Off Atlantic Boulevard.
After you got the address for that apartment complex, did you do anything to look that complex up?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do?
I Googled it.
All right. And did you see images of it?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell anyone that you found his address?
Yes, sir.
Who did you tell?
I told Kareem.
After that, did you continue to monitor Charles McCormick's Instagram page?
Yes, sir.
Were you trying to keep tabs on him?
Yes, sir.
In December of 2019,
You guys, don't post your location while you're there on Instagram. I mean, not that anybody is looking to stalk you, but just in case, don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't tell people when you're going on vacation either.
did Charles McCormick post anything that kind of caught your attention?
Yes, sir.
And what was that?
Posted a picture
And why was that of interest to you?
because he posted in the same apartment complex.
Did you recognize that location in the photo?
Yes, sir.
When you saw that photo posted by Charles McCormick, what did you do?
Text Kareem.
Abdul Robinson Jr.?
Yeah.
And what was the purpose of texting Kareem?
Let him know that he posted a picture at his house.
Charles McCormick?
Yes, sir.
And why did you want to share that information?
Basically, so we can ride through and see what was up.
So after you sent that information to Abdul Robinson Jr., what happened?
We went and they came and picked me up, and we went out there to go see where he posted the picture at.
Who's they?
It was me, Kareem, Hakeem, and Scotty.
So Scotty Leroy Whitaker,
Yes, sir.
Hakeem Robinson,
Yes, sir.
and Kareem Abdul Robinson Jr.
Yes, sir.
And when they picked you up, do you know what kind of vehicle they were in?
He was in a Camry, Toyota Camry.
Do you know whose car that was?
It was Hakeem's car.
Was it a car he owned?
No, sir. It was a rental car.
A rental?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about that before. Again, not really anything to do with this. And yes, I have the vinegar out everywhere, and the flies were gone all day, and now, of course, they're back because I have lights on all over me. I don't know why this year I got blessed with these teeny little, I guess they're called drain flies versus the teeny tiny ants. I prefer the ants. The rental car thing. I don't know if that's a Florida thing. There's people that rent out their own cars on Turo. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's other ways to make money. But a lot of people rent cars and then go commit crimes. And then you lose your car because the crime is committed, and it usually ends up crashed somewhere along the way.
Where did the four of you go once they showed up?
We went to McCormick's apartment complex.
And what did you do when you got there?
We went to go see where he posted the picture at.
And what was the reason?
You know what that's called? Geolocation. Do you know what he's doing? Investigation. You know what he's using? Open source intelligence.
For trying to find that location of where he took the photo.
So basically, so we can,
Thank you, Laura.
handle up after that.
What does handle up mean?
get everything in motion, like set something up
To accomplish what?
to kill McCormick.
And did you know before you went over there exactly what unit he lived in?
No, sir.
Did verifying where that photo was taken assist you with that?
Yes, sir.
Was killing Charles McCormick something that you wanted to happen?
Yes, sir.
Is it something based on the group and everyone going over there? Was that something that Leroy Whitaker wanted to happen?
Yes, sir.
Abdul Robinson Jr.,
Yes, sir.
Hakeem Robinson?
Yes, sir.
When all of you went over there that day, did you see Charles McCormick at the complex?
No, sir.
Where did you go after y'all left that day?
They took me back to my apartment.
What was the reason that all of you wanted to kill Charles McCormick?
Because of the diss track he made.
And did that diss track upset you?
Yes, sir.
Were you upset about what he said in it?
Yes, sir.
Did he get stuff wrong?
Yes, sir.
That upset you?
Yes, sir.
Why was Hakeem Robinson and Leroy Whitaker and Kareem all upset?
Because he was dissing their brother and friends.
And by brother, you mean Willie Addison?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Once you found out where Charles McCormick lived in December of 2019, why wasn't he killed right away?
Because he took a vacation.
Charles took a vacation?
Yeah.
You know where he went?
Went to Vegas
How were you able to find that out?
through Insta,
Say that again?
Instagram.
Were you still trying to monitor his location?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did he come back from Vegas?
Yes, sir.
And did you find that out?
Yes, sir.
How?
Through Instagram.
Do you recall when you saw that information?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
It was on the morning of January 15, 2020.
So the morning he was killed.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall where you were when you found that information?
It was at my apartment.
Was anyone with you that morning?
Yes, sir.
And was this very early morning?
Very early morning.
Okay. So I wanted you to see, let me go back to me. I wanted you to see how there were a lot of things in there. So one, the victim was killed for dropping a diss track about the brother of one of the defendants. That's in its simplest form, right? They found him. They found where he lived through using Instagram and court records. They looked up his name in the clerk of courts, saw where he got pulled over, got his address, drove to his complex, looked around the complex, watched his Instagram. He posted a picture at his complex. They knew when he went to Vegas. They knew when he had come back. It's crazy. And all of that, this is it. I talk about having a lot of teenage clients. Yes, thank you so much, Laura, for gifting memberships. I appreciate you so much. Laura gifted out 5 new memberships. So if you've got one of those memberships, I hope you will thank Interesting Captures Laura and be sure to check out her channel. It's like sometimes people, these young people who are constantly posting to each other on Instagram or doing Instagram lives, and they may be even talking to their rival, their opposition, their whatever. And it's like they don't realize the rest of the world is watching. Now, the drill rappers in Jacksonville, they know the rest of the world is watching. They also know the police are watching because if they aren't dead or locked up or waiting on trial, the sheriff has just basically said, be gone and do not come back. And so the one remaining sort of top figure in this rivalry of these two gangs, which is how the police referred to them as gangs, has left Jacksonville and has a gaming channel and is still making music, and allegedly also paid for the defense for ksoo in this case. Okay, so I wanted to show you how we've got, I've got another slide to show you too. Alexis, did we put it in here? The one I've got of the lyrics? No. Okay, I'm going to show you because I can't play you just a chunk of some lyrics. And then I'm going to show you what I really thought was interesting and what I have never, ever seen before, which is this 3D kinetic technology that they use to identify queso, which closed captions, right, says like the Mexican cheese queso. Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. All right. I'm going to run down. I got a couple little slides to show you. Okay. Let's add this one. All right. So one of the ways police used a lot of evidence in this, or used a lot of different things in this case. I'll go to another slide with a list of it in a moment. But this is a snippet of some lyrics from ksoo. ksoo. It's actually a Young and Ace song. It's not even ksoo's song. It's Young and Ace. So 5.56 ksoo loaded up. That's a caliber of ammunition. Kill everybody outside. I don't give an F. 7.62s in my Draco. Again, that is a caliber of ammunition, and Draco is a weapon. Leave no witness. They all gotta go. Been spinning blocks since Snotty Nose. It's a little kid. If he sneezes, watch how quick I up and blow. Homicide, strictly violence, dropping bodies, all I know. That being said, speaking on my brother, get you stepped on. Stand over you in that exact bed you slept in. Hire somebody to come get your hitman hit. That being said, I can't even see sorry guys. I can't see all of the words because the StreamYard thingy is blocking it. There we go. That being said, speaking on my brother, get you stepped on, stand over you in that exact bed you slept on, hire somebody to come and get your hitman hit. So the police used that as part of their evidence, the caliber of the casings. So they used the lyrics as the motive, right? Charles McCormick, Little Buck's lyrics about smoking Willie. ksoo made some Instagram posts that were confessional in nature. I cannot post them here. The music video footage from one of ksoo's songs was used to identify the weapon used in the shooting, which I also can't show you. And then the surveillance, the entire killing, and I'm purposely avoiding the M word, but the surveillance video, there was a car parked that caught the whole thing on surveillance video. Now, I have spent the last 2 weeks squinting at every screen I've got trying to decipher some surveillance video of some vehicles driving really, really fast, allegedly shooting at each other. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this exists, right? So what they did was they took the surveillance video footage from the inside of someone's car, and they used it to create a 3D kinetic image to identify this shooter. And this is something I've never seen before. I would like to know if you guys have seen this before. And then, so these are just some of the facts. If you want to come back, if you're ever interested in what in the world happened, this is a very, very, very bare bones description of the facts. So let's take a look, though. Let me take that down. Oh, I don't want to see myself in full screen. Thanks, but no. Hey, Larry Powers. Good to see you, sir. Let's see. Yeah, Callie says life is really cheap when you literally don't expect to live to 25. Their life expectancy is in their early 20s. I mean, yeah, a lot of them were literal teenagers. Let's see. Hi, Fala. Welcome. Nice to see you guys. Therapist, good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. They're crash outs, K Tally Pit Love. Okay. Is this happening in other cities? Oh, yes, 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 it is. Jacksonville just seems to be the Florida hub for this, or at least it was. Like I said, I'm constantly stuck in like 5 years ago, because like the case that I've got coming to trial happened 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. This case happened 4 or 5 years ago. So, yeah, it really and truly is happening in other cities, and Chicago is a big one. Brooklyn, Philadelphia, it's big in the UK. And it's sort of it's said to have started in the US in Chicago around the 2010s. It's just something that's very different for me. Like, I get cases that, like that end up blowing up in the news, but for different reasons. This one, or this whole world that like I didn't know existed, I mean, I had no idea. But it's so brazen. And what you're going to see, because we're going to watch now the testimony, just the direct testimony of the man that did the 3D imaging, and how this is mind-blowing. So if you're like, I don't care about the rappers, fine, don't care about the rappers, but this is this part I hope you guys will find interesting. Hi guys. So hi Fala. Is Hellcat here too? I thought I saw. Oh, hey. Thanks you guys for stopping in and saying hi. It's so good to see you guys. Yeah, I agree, Kelly. I mean, a lot of us on here, well, I mean, I don't know about everyone, but I know that me, Alexis, Kelly, Trial TV Live, Squeegee, we're all basically Gen X, so I mean, yeah. Drill rap is about, it's just about smoking the ops. That's what it is. So far as I can tell, they do have a lot of money, but I don't know where they're getting the money from. Like, I don't, and they've got a lot of diamonds. I mean, they've got record deals, and they've got social media accounts. So the money is coming in from there. I mean, there's over 1 million subscribers for ksoo's YouTube channel, and Who I Smoke, which is actually not a ksoo song. I think it's on, is it on Spinna Benz's channel? I don't even remember, you guys. It's got over 10 million views. That's money. That's money, you guys. What's interesting is that you don't need a record label like to go into the studio and make a record. They are literally like recording on their phones and putting it out immediately. I mean, some of their videos are produced and all the things, but others are not. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But let's watch. Let's learn about the no, you're not Squeegee, no, you're not old. Yeah, oh, so K Tally Pit Love is Gen X also. Yeah, so this is mind-blowing to me for so many reasons, and it makes me feel really old, but it also makes me very worried for an entire generation. So does anybody, I'm going to play now this, the testimony of this digital guy. And this is the part I have never seen before. It's the part the news didn't even talk about, really. They were all like, oh, his dad testified against him and his co-defendant testified against him. No, I think this is the most interesting part of it. But this trial brought in so many pieces of what is relevant in today's world that I think a lot of lawyers are out of touch with. Like like I've said before, a lot of them don't understand technology. So like the cell phone stuff goes by them. Well, some of them are on social media, but I don't think they're on Instagram Live understanding. I just don't think they have a grasp of what's happening. And then it comes down to a question that we're not going to talk about tonight because I don't have a constitutional brain on me at the moment, which is should these kinds of lyrics be allowed in as evidence of crimes at trial, right? And I know that was a big discussion in the YSL trial, which I could never in a million years attempt to break down that trial because that was an absolute disaster of a trial from start to finish that took well over a year. And I mean, was a disgrace on many fronts and many levels. And so I can't even try. Right now, I don't have the bandwidth for a whole lot more than, what I'm working on. And because this came along in my work, the Julio case is fast tracked. I mean, that's not going to be 4 years gone by. The judge this case is going to trial before she retires. And so that's April of next year, which means that work gets done now on it. There's no pushing it down the road. So as I'm preparing for a trial that's happening now, and then the one that comes after and the one that comes after, I'm also having to prep for this one because the depositions for this one are important and they're coming up at the end of this month. Larry Powers is Gen X. Hi guys. Generation Jones. This is all new to me. It's so interesting. Hi Laura Long. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Fala, thank you for gifting memberships. Thank you. That was so nice of you. Appreciate you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the support, you guys. Okay, so let's watch this testimony. I hope you find this interesting. Okay, I just have to remember what I'm supposed to do. Share your screen. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's not how you do that. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Got it. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to basically play this and we can pause and talk about it. It doesn't have anything to do with rap. It doesn't have anything to do with who is who in terms of like knowing names or whatnot. But I want to know if you guys, especially like those of you who are trial watchers, I know some of you are because I see some of you have trial watching channels. I want to know if you guys have seen something like this because I can't watch all the trials all the time. Okay, so let me share this. And so I want to point out two things here. One is whoever's doing the camera work on this, I would like to go and smack them because they zoom in and out, and it makes me crazy, and there's nothing I can do about that. Secondly, like I said earlier on, the witness looks like he's watching a tennis match as he's talking. He's going back and forth, back and forth. That's because there are two juries in the room, one on either side of him. So he's looking directly at the state's attorney. The defendants are behind the state's attorney podium, and then there's a jury to either side of him. They tried this case with two separate juries. I'm not going to show you the cross-examination because it was just annoying and it made me yell. But I want to see what your thoughts are on this. So again, what they did was a car captured, like a car had a dash cam and captured the shooting. That's where the video came from, the original video. I can't show you the second part of his testimony because of the depictions of weapons, although I would really like to. Maybe we can. So if you look, this is First Coast News from Jacksonville. This guy's testimony starts at the 2-hour mark of an 8-hour day. And when I stop, I'll note the time for you if you want, because when I stop it, that's where he goes on to use footage from the music video of Ksoo's weapon to match with the weapon from the surveillance video. I'm just, like I said, go back to the beginning of the stream for my disclaimer on why I'm not showing some stuff, why I'm not saying some stuff. That's just how it is on my little channel. All right, here we go.
Please be sure to sit up close and speak loudly and clearly into the microphone.
May it please the court?
Yes.
Would you please state your name and spell it for the record?
My name is Jason Latham. Common first spelling, Jason. Last name, Latham.
And Mr. Latham, do you currently own and operate your own private?
Also, what Alexis says is correct also, which is why if you see the camera pan slowly up to the ceiling, it's because the fear of God has been put in him that not to capture a jury's face. So as we know, all courtrooms are not set up the same and all filming of trials is not equal. But whoever did this one and for this particular testimony, I would like to smack him. Okay.
Private business, Complete Digital Forensic Solutions.
I do.
And where is that company based out of?
The company's located in Colorado.
And what is your position at that company?
I am the owner, and I'm also a certified forensic video examiner, as well as the laboratory director, and I'm also an instructor.
And what type of work does CDFS specialize in?
We specialize on image analysis and digital multimedia evidence processing.
And can you tell the jury what formal education you had?
I have a Bachelor's of Arts from Bethel College, Kansas, in history, psychology, and pre-medicine. I also have...
I have a Bachelor's of Arts in psychology with a minor in English. I want to know, how do you get a Bachelor of Arts in 3 different areas? Would that not be 3 separate bachelor's degrees? How does that work?
The Master's of Science in Media Forensics degree from the University of Colorado.
And in addition to that training, did you also complete an internship at the FBI Academy?
Yes, I did.
And what did that training cover?
That training covered some advanced image analysis techniques. I also learned reverse projection, photogrammetry, and other height determination techniques while I was out there.
Do you currently hold any certifications related to the field of digital forensic examinations?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell the jury what those certifications are?
I hold a certified forensic video examiner, and I also hold a certified forensic video analyst certifications.
And can you briefly describe what was required to get those certifications?
Those certifications require either a degree and 3.
Yeah, media forensics, Kelly. I know, you guys. I know. I'm sorry about the head sweep. Like, I can't. This is the feed. You know how you guys all know how this works. There's one camera in the courtroom. Larry, I'm sure you have 3 different degrees that are all unrelated, but I'd like to know how that falls under one bachelor's degree. Like, I don't. It's fine. Media forensics. So, Kelly, I encouraged my good friend and sometimes guest to watch this tonight because we need to see if the Florida JAC will pay for this guy. He says he works for both the defense and the state, and in this case, the state of Florida hired him. So, you guys are so funny. Psychosaurus Rex, welcome. And don't worry about knowing what drill rap is. That's just the context of the trial. This is the interesting part. It has nothing to do with rapping.
3 years on the job doing forensics, or without a degree, 5 years on the job training, over 180 hours of classroom training, as well as various practical exams, as well as written exams throughout this process. And for one of my certifications, I had to sit on a board where my work was reviewed by 3 other certified forensic video examiners to confirm my certification.
How many total hours would you estimate of training in the fields of digital forensics have you had in your career?
Over 1,500 hours.
That's a lot.
And in your career, have you been qualified and accepted by courts as an expert in the field of digital or multimedia forensics?
Yes, I have.
Approximately how many times?
Approximately 16 times.
And does that...
What was that? What happened? Oh, okay. Okay,
Hey, please, court.
go ahead.
Thank you. Does that include being accepted as an expert in the fields of digital and multimedia evidence, comparative analysis, content analysis, photogrammetry, terrestrial 3D laser scanning, among others?
Yes,
Terrestrial laser 3D scanning.
that is correct.
And in what states have you been accepted as an expert?
I've been accepted as an expert in California, excuse me, California, Nebraska, California, New Hampshire, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, and I think that's it.
Now, as a digital forensics expert, have you been asked to evaluate digital evidence? Do you charge for your services and your time?
Yes, I do.
And have you previously been hired to examine digital evidence in both criminal and civil cases?
I have.
And have you worked for both state agencies as well as defense?
I've worked for both sides, yes.
Now, in 2021, were you hired by the state of Florida to conduct forensic examination of digital evidence related to the murder of Charles McCormick?
Yes, I was.
Your Honor, this time I would tender the witness to be able to give his opinion in the field of digital multimedia forensics.
All right, and any voir dire from Defendant Whitaker? Any voir dire from Defendant Robinson? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Mr. Latham, in 2021, you were hired by the state of Florida to conduct a forensic examination in this case?
Yes, I was.
And did that include a forensic video review of a dash cam video that recorded the murder?
Yes, it did.
And as well as the examination of the physical crime scene?
That is correct. Yes, I did.
And a forensic examination of 3 known individuals so that you could potentially determine whether or not any of them could be excluded from being the shooter captured on video?
Yes, that's correct.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Showing you a disc, which has been marked for identification.
So I had wanted you guys, normally I would start with his testimony, but I wanted you to hear his education and training, because we have gone down the rabbit hole sometimes of the expert testimony. I think, didn't I do a stream on experts, what makes an expert, after the debacle of the one guy who had been pursuing his bachelor's degree for like 13 years? Yes. Didn't we? I think we did that. But I wanted you to see how in-depth his training is. And I didn't know that. I'm not surprised such a person exists, but I didn't know such a person exists. But now that I know, it's good to know.
As 10O, do you recognize this disc, sir?
Yes, I do.
And does that disc contain a PowerPoint presentation containing images, videos, your analysis in this case?
That is correct.
Are those images and the analysis a fair and accurate representation of your work?
Yes, that's my work product from the analysis.
And would that assist you in your testimony here today?
Yes, it would.
Your Honor, based on that, I would seek this evidence as the state's appropriately numbered exhibit.
All right. And on behalf of Mr. Robinson, oh, let me back up. Sorry. On behalf of Mr. Whitaker, on behalf of Mr. Robinson. All right. Thank you. All right, 10-0 will be marked into evidence as number 248.
And Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes.
Mr. Latham. Showing.
It is a nice smoking courtroom. So you see, he pans up to the ceiling because there's a jury.
Current slide that's on the screen. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
And can you briefly explain to the jury what we are looking at?
On the left hand of the screen, the K1 and Q1 individuals were from the video of the event of interest, the shooting. On the right hand side, we have K2, K3, and K4, which were the known individuals that were analyzed, and the scans of them were processed during this examination.
And at the beginning of this process, when you received the dash cam video, what was the first thing you did upon getting that actual video?
Yeah, one of the first things we do in our shop is when we receive evidence, we make a forensic working copy of that evidence. That is an exact.
I would like to mention that this is exactly what I do when I get discovery. Sometimes I make myself confused.
Copy of the original evidence, and we conduct all our work on the working copies of the evidence.
Now, as part of your analysis in this case, did you send two colleagues, Mark Johnson and Kip Stavru, down to Jacksonville to conduct some of the data collection that you needed for your analysis?
Yes, I did.
And did that examination in Jacksonville take place on November 10th of 2021?
Yes, it did.
And specifically, what type of data were you seeking to have collected?
We were seeking to have a 3D terrestrial laser scan of the crime scene, forensic photographs of the crime scene, and we also took drone footage of the crime scene, as well as we scanned 3 individuals in a correctional facility.
Can you explain what we're looking at in this photograph?
This is the crime scene that my team scanned, and we applied a grid to this scene as well for our references.
So I'm just going to let you know this happened in broad daylight in the morning of a shopping plaza in Jacksonville where there was a Publix grocery store. So that in and of itself is slightly terrifying because this is not uncommon, sadly.
In this slide?
In this slide, on the left-hand side, you can see these orange dots. Those are the positions that the laser scanner was positioned.
Okay, so those weren't their mugshots, Squeegee. So what we just saw is they have, and he's going to explain it further, but these aren't their mugshots. This is after this company was hired, they came into the jail and they set up that wall, and you're going to see how they're positioned, each of them, in various ways for the overlay. So that's why they're all dressed the same. You're going to see that they're all posed the same. He's going to go into it in further detail here.
To actually scan the scene, and on the right is a photograph of the scene.
And this slide?
This is a summary of all the scan positions of the scene from the 3D terrestrial laser scanner.
And why was this data important to collect?
This data was important to collect because we needed an accurate dimensional analysis of the scene, and that way we could stitch the 2D video to the 3D data that we collected of the scene.
Can you explain what we were looking at in this slide, sir?
So this is where he's going to tell you all about that. And I just realized after hearing him say, this is where we're going to stitch together the 2D and 3D topographical. That's what I've been attempting to do all week with really bad surveillance footage from a road.
This is the setup that we use to scan the 3 individuals at the correctional facility.
And this slide.
As a positive control in this process, the team set up several identifiers on the wall, including those little square boxes with the weird looking circles and dots in them. Those are targets for the laser scanners. And then we also included a calibrated line on the wall for various heights, and this was confirmed with a calibrated laser measuring device.
And that line that device appears to be connected to, what line is that, the measurement?
The bottom of that black line is 6 foot.
And what are we looking at this slide?
We then had each of the individuals assume several poses, and they were photographed. And this is the photographs of those poses.
So this is for K2?
This is for K2, yes, sir.
And for K3, who is Leroy Whitaker?
Yes, sir.
And finally, K4, Dominic Barner?
That's correct.
Now, the equipment that was used to collect 3D laser scans of these individuals, is it extremely accurate?
It's very accurate.
And is it capable of collecting an accurate height measurement for those individuals?
Yes, it is possible.
And though that wasn't required for your analysis, did Mark Johnson, while he was conducting these scans, get a laser scanned report of the barefoot height for those known individuals?
Yes, it's my understanding he did.
And are the laser height measurements for those individuals consistent with your overall analysis in this case?
Yes, they are.
And this slide, does that represent the laser measured height for the 3 known individuals?
Yes, those are the latest scans of the 3 individuals.
And on the left, that is K2, Hakeem Robinson.
That is correct.
And what is the height marked in that slide?
Based on this slide, it's approximately 6.03 feet.
All right. And to the right is that K3 and 4, both Leroy Whitaker and Dominic Barner.
That is correct.
All right. And what are their reported heights on the slide?
Mr. Whitaker is 5.62 feet, and Mr. Barner is 5.59 feet.
Now, because that's in a decimal form, is that a little bit different than, say, for example, for Mr. Whitaker? It says 5.6233 feet. Is that 5 feet 6 inches, or what does that equate to?
It's about, for K2, it's approximately 6 foot with a little bit extra. It's a fraction of a foot.
After collecting that data, did you also do what is called a camera match overlay as part of your analysis?
Yes.
I have never heard of this part. Okay. So I have had experience with something called Faro scanners, where they bring in a laser device and they scan a shooting scene for trajectory of bullets. Like if you remember watching, if anybody ever watched like CSI Miami back in the day, when they would use all different kinds of things to try to figure out the trajectory of bullets. They have lasers now for that, which they use a lot in outdoor scenes.
They did.
What is a camera?
Yeah, there was a lot of arguing about this, Kay Tally Pitlive, about whether it was admissible and all of those things. I did not pull any of the motions. I didn't look for any of the motions hearings, nothing like that. I do not have time for that right now. But yeah, these are super, super detailed. I mean, just I'll shut up and you guys keep watching. It's good. How come do we not have membership emojis? I have not seen any Henry emojis at all in tonight's chat, and I don't see how Henry can be expected to make an appearance if nobody uses his emojis. What happened to our emojis?
Camera match overlay.
Very simply, a camera match overlay is the process of taking the 2-dimensional video that was recorded at the scene and then taking the 3D data that we collected with the laser scanners and stitching those together. And we use some complicated geometry and mathematics to do that.
And why is that needed?
That's needed so we can add, once we do that, we're able to either generate models of scenes or objects that we see in the video, or we can introduce scaled models into the 3D data so we can better visualize and analyze the 2D video data.
Can you explain briefly what is contained in this slide?
Yes, one of the first processes in a camera match overlay is these surveillance systems generally have wide angle lenses. What that means is the light that comes in on the edge of the lens gets bent. It's if you look at the roof line on the original on the left, you can see that the roof is kind of has a little bend to it. That's called barrel distortion. So one of the first things we have to do is correct the lens aberrations. So when we apply the mathematics to the original image, we get the image on the right where straight lines of the roof are straight, the parallel lines of the poles are straight, and they're not bent because of the lens.
And the next slide.
Once that's the lens is corrected, on the left-hand side of the screen, we have the 3D scan data of the scene. And on the right side, we have the corrected lens, corrected image of the video.
And then this slide.
Once the process is completed, the computer algorithm then places the 2D over the 3D based on the mathematics and geometry and produces a composite image with both of those overlaid.
And the next slide, which I believe is 18.
Correct. The little green crosshairs in this image, what I'm doing here is I'm taking fixed points in the video that I can see, like the example, a corner of the door, corner of one of the moldings. These are then picked in the video, and they're also selected within the 3D data. These are the points that the computer uses to apply the mathematics to stitch those two together and overlay them.
And then slide 19.
And this is the result of the 2D being overlaid on the 3D in a mathematical fashion.
And are these scanners accurate?
The laser scanner is very accurate at this distance.
And so slide 20, what does that reflect?
This is our positive control. We put a grid down on the pavement of a known quantity, and this was calibrated. This was confirmed by a calibrated laser measuring device. We can then use the scan because we know the distance of these squares is exactly 1 meter. We then can use this to determine the error rate of our analysis.
For those of you who are still here and who watched Karen read, do you think that the state of Massachusetts could use some education in law enforcement on mapping crime scenes? Just a question. Just a question. You guys are funny. I'm watching you, and you're funny. Henry's, I think, in the closet. But thank you for the emojis.
And slide 21, does that reflect that error rate?
That represents the error of the scanner, which is 0.001 meters.
And then slide 22.
This is the final step in the process where we look at the calibration accuracy. How well did the computer match up to the known distances within the camera match overlay?
Now, did this process allow you to do what you referenced earlier, stitching that 2D video together along with that 3D kind of point cloud?
Yes, it did.
And were you able to visually depict both the shooter and Mr. McCormick, the victim in the video, together side by side in similar?
Yes, I was.
I'm going to show you.
So what he's done here is sort of obviously mapped out. It's crazy that this car was just parked right where it's going to catch everything, but so I've seen this before, right, where they've sort of, like I said, used a laser technology of some kind to map out a shooting scene. What I've never seen before is what they do with the people and why they took the weird photographs of everybody. You'll see that in a minute, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about it. And I'm sure there was argument over the admissibility and all of the things. Obviously, the judge deemed it admissible, so we're going with that, and we're just gonna see what you guys think of it.
I'll get to that in a second. This slide 23, which apparently I skipped.
Yes, this is, there are 3 factors that account for the accuracy and precision of this entire process. One is the accuracy of the scanner, which is very precise. The other is the accuracy of those green points I picked. And the last one is the accuracy of a known measurement, that square box on the ground. Add those all together, and the overall error rate of this process was 1.3426 inches.
And then slide 24.
These are examples. When we have the computer do this analysis, it produces a frame, it produces this overlay for every single frame of video that we provided to the system.
Now, getting back to the question I asked a moment ago regarding placing the two individuals, the shooter and the victim, side by side in a visual comparison, you were able to do that.
Yes, I was.
And showing you what is slide 26, can you explain what we are looking at?
Yes, because of the, I'm going to call it a corridor of this walkway, both the individuals had to traverse the similar path. And because of the step up, the way their feet hit the ground on the step, they funneled through this area. And there were several frames where when we superimpose one individual over, because the scene didn't change, we then can see that they followed a very similar path.
Now, slide 27. The K1 height of 5 foot 10 inches. You did not conduct that analysis yourself, did you?
No, I did not.
And is that what was reported through the medical examiner's report?
That was a report I received from the medical examiner, yes.
Now, regardless of that, looking at these two individuals together, were you able to form any opinion as to how comparatively their heights, the shooter to the victim in this case, how they compare?
Yes, I was.
And what was that opinion?
It was my opinion, based on this side-by-side, is that the K1 shooter was at least as tall as the K1 individual.
And Q1 was the shooter?
Q1 is the shooter, yes.
Now, as part of your analysis in this case, was a 3D kinematic model also created of the shooter that is captured on that dash cam video?
Yes, it was.
And who created that model?
Mr. Mark Johnson created that model.
Did you participate and collaborate with Mr. Johnson during the during the creation of that 3D kinematic model?
The creation of that model was at my direction, command, and control.
And did you review that work?
Yes, I did.
And going to the next slide, which is slide 29, can you explain what this slide depicts in the creation of that 3D kinematic model?
After the camera match overlay, the computer produces a frame for each, produces an image for each frame of video. The kinematic model is then articulated. The joints are moved to overlay the model over each frame of video. And this is, in this case, it was conducted over 28 individual frames as the individual moved over.
So can you guys see this? What they did here, they made this model that's outlined in yellow. This kinetic model is what they're calling it. And then I wish the camera person would have just like zoomed out and let us see instead of it just constantly moving. And I'm pausing, for YouTube reasons. So I apologize for the interruptions, but I think this is pretty interesting.
Away from the camera in perspective.
And I'm going to go to the next series of slides, starting with number 30. What is this?
This is a result of the kinematic model analysis.
And then starting with slide 32, is this the first frame of the 28 total frames that were used?
It is.
And can you also explain to the jury kind of how scaling works and why the 28 frames were important in this case?
Yes. As an object moves away from the camera, it's going to get smaller. As it comes closer to the camera, it's going to get larger. So the model, the kinematic model, is generated not just on one image. We use multiple images as that object, in this case a person, is moving away from the camera. That allows us to make sure that the scale is consistent in the 3D environment throughout the placement of the model.
And I'm going to go quickly through the next series of slides. If you need me to stop, just let me know. 33, 34, 35, and let's go quicker. Are these essentially just the 28 still?
Yeah, this is the way we confirm that the model matches the object that we're trying to model in the 3D point cloud.
The state paid $80,000 pre-trial for this. Yes, it was admissible. This is from their trial. This is from the trial that ended approximately, 2 weeks ago, I want to say. They were found guilty. Spoiler alert. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I said, I didn't have it in me, right, to debate with you guys. And it's not the admissibility of this kind of evidence. And obviously I did, like I just said, I didn't watch the pretrial hearings or read any motions because I didn't have the time. But I pulled this part because it's fun to watch stuff, yeah?
Once that kinematic model was created, were you able to compare that model to the 3D laser scan of the three known individuals in this case, K2, Hakeem Robinson, K3, Leroy Whitaker, and K4, Dominic Varner?
That was correct.
And can you explain to the juries what we're looking at in slide 62?
Yes.
61?
Pardon me. The top of the chart, those are the photographs of K2. And at the bottom of the chart, those are the laser scans of K2.
And then slide 62.
And what I've done here is the bottom, again, the top is the photo of the individual. On the bottom, I have overlaid the kinematic model over the scan of the K2 individual in several articulated positions. Simply, we had them hold several poses so we could clearly see the joints of that individual and then overlay the kinematic model into those same poses and positions at the joint locations.
And 63.
Same process was applied to K3 and K4. The top is the photograph, the bottom is the laser scan. And then we overlay the kinematic model onto the laser scan in the very...
So if the cameraman would hold still for like a flat second, you could see what they're talking about. And it can be confusing because I've been referring to Hakeem Robinson as ksoo, and then they're calling him K1, which is just known individual 1, I guess, and known individual 2 and known individual 3. Q1 is the kinematic model. So the top are photographs, and the bottom line is the laser scanned kinematic overlay, as best I understand. It's very mathy.
Various poses.
And then we're on slide 65. Is that K4, Dominic Varner?
Same process for K4, photo, laser scan, and then overlay of the kinematic model.
Hey, Scotty. We need this guy.
All right. What are we looking at in slide 67?
These are the scans of the three individuals side by side on scale.
Slide 68.
This is taking the scan of K2 and placing that individual at scale into the 3D point cloud data.
Slide 69.
This is the same with K3 placed into the scene at scale.
And then slide 70.
Same for K4.
Slide 71, is that just a composite showing K2, 3, and 4 to scale?
This is a summary showing all the individuals.
And slide 72.
Slide 72 is a single frame of video where the questioned individual is seen stepping up onto the...
Okay, so preliminary guess. Which of the 3 suspects do you guys think this is right here in this photo from this still shot? You guys got any clue? We saw the 3 different guys, right? We have ksoo. We have Scotty, not to be confused with the 6'3", 4 Scotty Sonardi, who's in my chat right now. And then Dominic Warner, also known as Butta. Thank you, Squeegee. I will expect to get text messages from you in future trials. And I know you texted me recently. Yeah, it's ksoo. Yeah. Yeah.
The platform.
Slide 73.
This is the relationship of Q1 in the video to K2, the scan of K2.
And K2 would be Hakeem Robinson?
That is correct.
Slide 74.
Same. On the left is the Q1, the shooter, and on the right is K3.
So that's
slide
Scotty.
75.
Same for K4.
Slide 76.
Here we have the scan of K2 side by side at scale with the Q1 shooter.
Slide 77.
Same, this is the Q1 shooter at scale alongside K3.
Slide 78.
Same.
So, Squeegee, I've only got about 3 minutes left of this guy's testimony. I watched the cross. It made me want to smack the defense attorney. I could maybe do another stream and show the cross-examination. It was annoying because he was asking a lot of questions that the guy clearly was like not within his realm to determine. So I chose not to show the cross of this. But I'm gonna I hear you. Yeah. I was fed up. The technology is really amazing. Yes, cross the defense. That. Yep. So we just have a few minutes left.
Same with K4.
And then slide 79 is just a summary of those three previous.
Summary of the three side by side.
What are we looking at in slide 80?
This is kind of a composite summary of how we got here, showing the three-dimensional scan with the models of K2, 3, and 4. And on the bottom is the relationship to the 2D video of the Q1 shooter.
Slide 81.
We then introduced the kinematic model. We stood the kinematic model up in erect position, and then at scale positioned it into the camera match overlay data.
Slide 82.
In this slide, it is the at scale, the Q1, the shooter, the kinematic model of Q1, and the scan of K2.
And K2 again is Hakeem Robinson.
Mr. Hakeem Robinson, yes.
Slide 83.
We have the video of Q1, the shooter, the kinematic model stood up of the Q1 shooter, and the model of K3.
And that's Leroy Whitaker, K3.
Correct.
All right, and then K4, Dominic Varner.
Same as the other two.
Okay,
And
I
slide
hear you guys.
85.
I hear you.
Again, at the top, we have the model, we have the video of Q1, and we have the model of Q1, and then we have a composite summary of all the previous analysis on one slide.
Were you able to, based on this data and analysis, come to any conclusions regarding whether any of the known individuals could be excluded from being the shooter captured on video?
Yes, I did.
We will.
And
Just give me
using slide
give us a minute.
86, can you tell the jury
What
what your
else,
conclusions
Quentin?
were?
Yes, it's my professional opinion based on my training and experience and the results of the body morphology analysis that K3, Leroy Whitaker, and K4 could be eliminated as a possible candidate for the identity of Q1, the shooter.
So just to be very clear, K3, Leroy Whitaker, and K4, Dominic Varner,
Varner, correct.
excluded.
Are excluded as possible candidates for the identity of the shooter Q1.
What about K2, Hakeem Robinson? Could he be excluded?
K2 cannot be excluded as a possible candidate as the shooter Q1.
Now, in addition to this analysis, were you also asked to do a comparative analysis between firearms?
Yes, I was.
And was that specifically the firearm that was captured on the dash cam video by the shooter, as well as a firearm in a music video?
That's correct.
And did you get a copy of the music video, in this case from the state?
Say that again, sir.
Were you provided with a copy of the music videos?
Yes, I was.
In addition to the dash cam video?
That's correct.
Now, after visually reviewing the music video, did you do some research in an attempt to identify a potential match for the make and model of the firearm?
Yes, I did.
And were you able to identify a potential match?
Yes, I was able to identify a potential match for that weapon.
All right. And what did you identify?
Okay, so I literally stopped like 30 seconds short of where I was going to. But what I wanted you to catch out of this part, because I'm not going to show it to you guys, is they gave him one. I didn't say I wouldn't give you the cross. They gave this expert a music video. And in it, ksoo has the weapon that was used in this incident. And if you remember, I showed you way back at the very beginning of this stream some lyrics that talk about casing sizes. Like, they just left these little pieces out all around the world. But what's crazy, and so if you are interested in seeing the firearms analysis and how we match the points of the gun, I am at 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 49 seconds of the 8 hour, 17 minute, and 29 second video. He matches it like point by point. It's crazy. But like, see my disclaimer back at the beginning of the stream, I'm not going to show it to you because I'm being overly cautious. So let me I have 20 of you who are here right now. I want a thumbs up in the chat for everybody that wants me to play this guy's cross. And I can tell you right now, they don't argue the constitutionality of it, squeegee, because that would be an argument for the judge pre-trial. So, is that my cat? Henry? Oh, he's bringing me Bunny. Oh, you're bringing Bunny? He's got Bunny. All right, if I can at least keep 5 of you. All right, you guys. I'm going to play it. I'm going to go ahead. This is where I was intending to end the video. You guys are too much. Okay, K-Tally Pitlove, adding more thumbs up does not count. You guys are too funny. Henry. All right, I'll play his cross. I have to find it. The constitutionality argument, admissibility argument, that would have come at a pretrial hearing. Alexis, do you remember where his cross is? They come back from lunch, right? I will warn you in advance. The defense attorney is obnoxious. And yes, I work for defense attorneys. Doesn't mean I don't find them to be obnoxious. Okay, so you will be forgiven if you choose to hop out now. It's 10 o'clock. I've been here a long time. I've been bullied, peer pressured, if you will, into playing this. So those of you who pressured me, I don't think it's a constitutional question. I don't think there is one here, honestly. Unless I'm just too tired to see it and it's right in front of my face. I don't think it's unconstitutional. I think the arguments would have been as to any expert testimony and the admissibility of the technology. Okay, well, some of you better be sticking around. That's fine. I'm going to play it. My parents can all go to sleep. I'll forgive them. Yeah, I know the ksoo part is hilarious, right? That they spell it, the auto-generated captions spell his name like queso, the dip. I did order Mexican food earlier. All right, y'all. I'm gonna play. So it's Scotty Whitaker's defense attorney does not cross. It is ksoo, Hakeem Robinson's defense attorney, who does do the cross. He is obnoxious. I did want to smack him. I think I'm just, irritable. Can't imagine.
Or heard anything in the news media? If so, please raise your hand.
Good night, Dad.
I see no hands raised from either jury. All right, prior to the lunch break,
Parents
the
are
state has concluded its direct examination of Mr. Latham And at this time, I'll call upon defense counsel for Mr. Robinson for cross-exam.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Latham, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, Mr. Cooper walked through a little bit of your background, but I want to jump a little bit deeper into it.
Yes, sir.
You worked for the police for about a decade, right?
That's correct.
And after that, you started to get this training. You did an internship. You had you did an internship, right?
While I was a police officer, I was actually assigned to the crime lab, so majority of my career was as a laboratory forensic scientist.
And then later on in time, you got a master's in forensic science.
That's correct.
And you received that master's last May.
That's correct.
So about a baker's dozen months ago, you became the recipient of the master's on which you now testify.
That's correct.
At least he
The
got it.
topics that you've testified here about today, and I don't dispute that you've talked about comparative analysis, where there's a video and then you have another body of evidence and you're comparing things. But with respect to kinematic models and trying to do an identification, this is your first time ever testifying about that specific topic, right?
That is correct.
You've never testified as an expert before the court about this topic.
No, I have not.
No. Your business, Complete Digital Forensic Solutions.
That's correct.
It's a business.
It is an S corporation. It is a business.
And you referred to it as quote unquote a shop.
A forensic shop. Yes, sir.
Right. It's a for-profit company.
It is indeed a for-profit company.
Now, Mr. Cooper asked you about the fact whether you received money for your work on this case.
Yes, that's correct.
Specifically, not like a salaried employee at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. You were paid hourly on this case.
That is correct.
To date, how much has the state of Florida given you in money for your testimony?
I don't keep the accounting books current. I do billable hours, and then I submit it to our accounting team for budgeting. My recollection is we're approximately $70,000 to $80,000 in billables that have been paid at this point.
That doesn't include your hourly rate here today to testify, right?
No, that.
Okay, so I'm just going to say some things here. First of all, why do they do this every single trial? It doesn't matter who pays the expert, right? It doesn't matter. If the state pays for the expert, then the defense is going to say, well, the state paid you to be here. Are you not being paid to be there? Like, are we all not being paid to be there? So I think that's just ridiculously stupid, right? And I'm tired of hearing it. And I'm tired of them making a big deal out of it. So what, the state paid for it? He's going to say in just a moment, he's been paid by the defense before too. So, okay. I don't know if I could get Christian like at the JAC to sign off on that, but you know, you never know, right? They spend a lot of, still the state of Florida. And let me see. Somebody else you asked another question. Squeegee. A baker's dozen years ago. This attorney I'm not a fan of. I just think that, like, I mean, it was just, his questions were just annoying. I'm not a fan of defense attorneys who are just getting up there and asking stupid questions. You'll see. And I'm cranky and I'm tired, you know, because like I said, I've been staring at some video footage and it sucks. And I don't get paid anywhere near this amount of money, but I'm also no expert on anything.
Does not include this testimony today.
And you're charging the state how much per hour?
For testimony, it's $500 per hour for testimony while I'm in court.
Now, let's talk about the firearm.
Are you single, sir?
Just to be clear for the jury. Check. Just to be clear for the jury.
Your Honor, if I may take this microphone over there?
Yes, was that one not working?
Not as much.
Okay.
So just to be clear, the firearm that was used by the shooter, the government doesn't have that in evidence.
I'm not aware if they do or do not.
It was never presented to you as the murder weapon.
No, it was not.
At best, your testimony, what you're telling these juries is it could be the same.
That's correct. It could be, yes.
All right. But the maximum you can say is that in your training and experience, that by doing the comparison in between the music video and the exemplar that you got from the company, that it's consistent with being the same type firearm.
That is correct.
You are not saying that it is the same one.
I am not saying it is the same identical weapon. No, I'm not.
Now, you've heard testimony and you've seen facts that Mr. Robinson signed a lucrative record deal right before this case, right?
I am not aware of any of that, sir.
We saw the music video, right?
I did not watch the music video for content. I had the audio off, and I was looking at it as an image analysis expert. The content or where it came from or who produced it or who paid for it, I have no knowledge of that whatsoever.
All right, so you have no idea about the record label in Manhattan that had signed him right.
So you guys are talking about the mic, which is funny. Try watching the opening arguments or the opening statements for this trial. I've never heard worse audio. Alexis, I think, went and found better audio than the main one, but I couldn't. I was trying so hard to listen. I couldn't listen to it. Yes, I'm just glad he has a mic, right? So let's rejoice that we're not having to try to pick up a wandering attorney with no mic.
Right before this.
This is the first time I've heard of that, sir.
All right, by the same manager of the likes of Nipsey Hussle and T-Pain.
I don't know who those individuals are, sir.
All right. Now, you saw parts of the video, there were guns in it, right?
There were several weapons depicted in the video, yes.
Indicating to you that it may be rapping about violence.
Could you say that again, sir?
Indicating to you that it may be a song that talks about violence.
Again, when I played the video, the audio was off. I was there for the video content alone, and so I cannot speak to the content of the music videos at all.
Yeah, there were no objections, Kate.
Do you have any evidence in your expertise to rule out the possibility that Hakeem Robinson, ksoo, his friends who remained in the streets of Jacksonville, who did not have a lucrative record deal, gave him their guns so that he could shoot the music video? Do you have any evidence of that? That disproves that.
Why would he
I have
know
no
that?
knowledge of where the weapons depicted in the videos, their source of origin at all.
All right, so you're not saying that that's his gun?
Whose weapon?
Exactly.
So we're taking a look now at slide 89, your slide. Can you see it?
Yes, I can, sir.
We're talking about the weapon that's in his hand right there, not the other two. Okay?
And your question is, sir?
The same one as before, that you have no evidence that that gun wasn't given to him by one of his non-rapping, remaining in the streets friends.
I have no idea where the origin of that weapon was.
All right. Now, also with respect to this, thank you. Also with respect to this video, you can't say when it was taken, right?
I can tell you by the metadata analysis when the video,
I don't
or at least the
know.
version of the video that I
That's
received
crazy.
was recorded or written, but the
Like a
actual
song,
first
right?
instance of this
Hip
recording, I do
hop
not
was
have any
a-
knowledge as to when that was
Was
done.
a hip
So
hop
you can't
artist
say that in January of 2020 that Mr. Robinson's hair looked like that.
I cannot attest to that at all.
And you're not testifying to that. That's not the purpose of this slide.
No, that is not.
Yeah, you should see
Now let's talk about your
Aaron,
testimony.
the piece I didn't show you, which was the photos from the guns that were left behind in the car. The rifle that Scotty, not Sonardi, that ATK Scotty had is gigantic. Like, he is a little dude, and that is a really big gun in the back seat of that car. Yeah, Kate Haley Pitlove, thank you. You'll you feel me. Scotty Sonardi said he'll never admit he actually likes drill rep. It's okay.
Testimony about the shooter. You can't tell this jury the race of the shooter from your work, right?
No, I cannot.
Can't say the gender.
No, I cannot.
You can tell us that it is a human being within a range of a height of a little bit under 6 feet and a little bit above 6 feet, right?
That would be a correct statement. Yes, sir.
You're not saying that Hakeem Robinson is a shooter.
I am making no assessments to that whatsoever.
For you to be able to rule out others that have motive, right, that are within that range, couple inches lower, couple inches higher, you would have had to have been presented by the government with their person so you could scan them, right?
To keep everything equal and fair, yes, they would have gone through the exact same protocol that we put all the other known individuals through, and then run them through the exact same
Buddy,
analysis
this is
process.
why I want to play it.
Did they have you analyze
I was
Christopher Brown,
pressured.
No, I did not analyze that individual.
Torgon Williams,
No, I did not analyze that individual.
Abdul Robinson Sr.?
He just
No,
said
I did not
no.
analyze that individual.
Do you know the exhaustive list of people that would have a motive to go after Mr.
How would he
McCormick?
know that?
No,
That
I
has
do not.
nothing to do
Is
with
that
his
question
job.
better for the detectives and law enforcement that are on this case?
I'm not at liberty. It's not within my exam. I don't know who in this jurisdiction would be the appropriate person to investigate that.
All right, we're going to go to slide 8 now. We're talking about the height of Mr. Robinson. So you weren't present on this day, right?
No, I was not.
You had one of your colleagues, 2 of your colleagues, come down here to Jacksonville to scan Mr. Robinson.
That is correct.
And that's one of them right there.
Yes, that is Mr. Mark Johnson.
All right. Now, the bottom of that tape, that's right about 6 feet, right? There's an error. There's a very small error margin, right?
Correct. That is 6 foot with a very small device, is very precise.
Now, your colleagues, they're very precise in the instructions for what you're trying to collect, limb length. But when they're doing the height determination, right? Part of the instruction is not for that person, like we all have at the doctor's office, to stand with their heels up against the wall together, to let them know we're measuring your standing height.
I can't speak to what a doctor office does, but we made specific decisions on the placement of the feet when we did this analysis.
My question to you is as the expert, if I'm standing with my feet apart, right, I'm shorter than if I stand with my feet together.
That would be correct.
By a
Yes.
small amount.
Yes, by a very small amount. Yes, that is correct.
Also, if my posture, like in the one all the way to the left, if my shoulders are hunched and I don't know that I'm being measured for height to stand up straight, like my mother or my doctor says when they're measuring me, then that may throw it off by a very small margin.
It could, and we addressed that written protocol. I developed believe it was a 8-page written protocol that every candidate that went through this exam was read the exact same thing. And we did, I believe in that protocol, indicate that they should stand fully erect in a comfortable position with their back to the wall. And then we gave the individual poses that they were to hold for a short period of time while we scanned.
Would it refresh your recollection to take a look at those instructions?
Yes, I could. Yes, please.
Okay, please. And let us know when it helps your memory.
Actually, Counselor, I only have my reports. I don't believe I have my, let me check one real quick. Your Honor, may I access my notes, please?
Yes, you may, if it'll refresh your memory.
Well, Squeegee. So Squeegee asked the question, so if you are a suspect, you can be asked to do certain things like pose. Well, he's more than a suspect, right? I mean, he's he's been charged with the crime. So I mean, he's presumed innocent. Judge ordered, there was a hearing, and judge ordered that they were to pose. Like I said, I didn't dig into the documents, but during my 5,000 Google searches, which if they ever take my history, my God, it was argued. Of course, the defense attorney said, no, he shouldn't be compelled to do this. And the court said, yes, he can. So, oh, thank you. Alexis says, no, Squeegee found guilty. Oh, during the analysis. No, not yet. This is the trial we're watching. So they did the analysis to present it at trial. The trial's what we're watching. The trial happened. She's been found guilty. They wouldn't have to do it after. You're confusing me, sir. Which isn't fair because you made me be here. That's past my bedtime. And yes, Alexis said the court order said they could use reasonable force to make him comply with posing.
I do have the sampling protocol. 1 second. And your specific question about the protocol again, sir, please?
At any point in time, do you tell the person, we are now measuring you for height?
At no time were they told we were measuring them for height, I believe.
At any point in time, were they told, stand with your feet together?
Thank you, Aaron, for
1
gifting
second.
5 new PI memberships. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Larry.
Could you restate your question again, please, sir?
Feet together.
At no point in the protocol were they told to put their feet together.
All right. Now, again, we're talking about, small margins. You'd agree with that?
I would agree with that, sir. Yes.
Come here. Henry.
Now, what we do know is that without being aware that he's being measured for height, without having his feet together and standing up straight, his head, or the crown of his head, and again, we can't tell because of the hair, appears to be, and if we look at the slide that's in the middle, this one right here, that he's above the tape. Do you see what I circled?
I see what you're referring to, sir. It looks like again, evaluating that image right now, it looks like his hair has moved, not necessarily the position of the crown of his head.
Now, again, we don't have great posture, but at all times you'd agree that he's at least eclipsing the bottom of the tape.
I would agree with that, yes, sir.
And the bottom of the tape is 6 feet.
That is correct.
The thickness of the tape, 1 to 2 inches?
I'm not aware of the thickness of the tape that they used. It appears it would be consistent with a 1/2 inch to approximately 1/2 inch of tape.
When you say they, you're talking about your people.
The sampling team, correct.
All right, so it's your team that's going out there, so presumably it's your tape.
Correct. And remember that was a positive control, a reference, if you will, to why the scans are going on to do a quick spot check. We know that bottom of that tape is 6 foot, and that was the purpose. Also, the square boxes with little circles are a verification target.
Now, perhaps we can come to an agreement, an estimate. The top of the tape, 6'1", around, give or take?
Between 6.5 and 6'1" would be a reasonable assessment if it was a 1/2 inch or a 1 inch piece of tape. Yes.
All right. So standing here today, are you able to say that Mr. Robinson, that his accurate standing height is actually 6 feet, and what would that be, about 6 feet 1/2 inch?
Approximately, that number would come out to about 6 feet 1/2 inch.
With proper posture, he could be 6'1", 6'2"?
That is a possibility within the range. If that was the specific exam that was to determine his height, we would be more precise about the position we would put him in, but the focus of this exam was not to measure the height of the individuals.
The government flew you all the way in from Colorado?
That is correct.
They paid for it?
They will pay for it, yes, that is correct.
And that doesn't go to the 70, 80,000 you've already been paid?
No, that does not.
There's nothing stopping you from taking a tape measure, measuring Mr. Robinson in front of these juries right now, right?
Scientifically, I would not agree to that for many reasons. With a tape measure, the accuracy is just not there. We'd have to have controls. We'd have to have calibrated devices. I would want to measure him 3 times. There are different ways that we measure him if we weren't going to laser scan him here in the courtroom.
All right, so Mr. Latham, you just told us with all the equipment that you guys brought in and all the scans and all of that it's still not accurate. What I'm asking you is if you had Mr. Robinson stand up, heels against a wall, and you had a step.
Hold on, I have to pause for a moment. Stop sharing so that we can have a moment of appreciation before I get bit to death. So everybody look at your screens. Say hello to Henry. All the way from the closet. This is Henry, Psychosaurus Rex. Everybody say hi to Henry. Squeegee's last comment last stream was free Henry. Here he is, the investigator himself. If you ever listen to any of my old streams and you hear, don't bite me, please don't bite me, don't bite me, this is the biter. Okay. We're going to go back to watching the show, and you're not going to bite me, okay? That would be lovely. Thank you. Okay. I'll return to our programming. Don't bite me, Henry. Come on. Oh, got to share the screen. Okay. I can do this. He does have great ear furnishings, Aaron. You're absolutely right. That is correct. Okay.
Stadiometer. You know what that is, right?
I'm not familiar with that is.
All right. So you went to the doctors as a kid, right?
Yes, I did.
Stand on the scale, and then that metal bar, they put it up and they measure you. That's the stadiometer.
Okay.
You could use that to measure him. You could do that and get more precise than was done with all the lasers and the scans in the digital stuff.
It all depends on the quality of the device and the calibration of that device. The device that was used to scan these individuals was over $100,000, and the individuals that used it had well over 40 hours of training specifically on that device. And the exam, if I'm asked to do a height determination, that is a completely different type of exam than a body morphology analysis. So what I'm saying, counselor, is the scan itself, if you came to me and said, I want to know the definitive height of this individual, then I would have developed a completely different protocol. The most efficient way would be shave the hair off the head and then measure to the crown of the head. But that's a bit intrusive. So we would have to go about that process in different scientific, repeatable, and accurate ways to determine the height.
Measuring him with a ruler doesn't cost 70 or 80 grand, does it?
I don't believe it does.
Oh, for heaven's sake, sir, that's just obnoxious.
You could give the accurate height of Mr. Robinson, but they didn't ask you to do that.
I was not asked to determine the height of any of the individuals specifically. As a result, in a conclusion, some of those heights were determined through various empirical means and through the data that which we collected.
All right. Now, when you say you were never asked, the only one that would be asking would be them, the government, right?
That would be my client. Well,
your client.
To some degree, when I reviewed the data as a forensic expert with a lot of years under my belt, if the data, sometimes my clients ask me questions of the data that the data doesn't support it, and I won't even attempt to answer those questions. Sometimes my clients don't know what they don't know, and I have to guide them as to what is forensically appropriate with the data they have. So once I've reviewed a preliminary review of the data they have, I then have a detailed discussion with them, a frank and honest discussion with them of what questions can be addressed by this data within a scientific degree of certainty within the available technology of the day.
Mr. Latham, I'm going to re-ask the question. I think that you just answered that in about 100 words. Mr. Robinson, stand up. I'm not asking you to analyze data given to them. I'm asking you, you could measure the height of this human being standing 10 feet in front of you right now, right?
If I had the proper equipment and protocol, yes, I could.
All right, take a seat.
I have to pause for a moment. Henry, my cat, who we just saw, and has he has fur coming out of his ears. That is truly called ear furnishings. Sorry, I see it being discussed in my chat, so I'm just letting you know he does indeed have magnificent ear furnishings. It's a very important feature of Henry. Okay.
Now, you have no reason to believe that Mr. Robinson, when the case happened, is in his early 20s. You have no reason to believe that he's grown since then, right?
I have no knowledge either way on that, sir.
Now, if anything, you said a moment ago that this scan was done where?
Okay, so here, has this man said anything about beliefs? He has testified to scientific data, math, forensics. He has not said one thing about what he could believe. Oh, I mean, the whole point, the whole point of his testimony is that they did this precise, crazy technological thing. And this man, this attorney, would make me mad if I was a juror, because he made me mad and I work for the defense. is standing here asking him to compare his work to the, that metal slidey thing the doctor makes you do. And the cat is going to bite me, which is why I'm always sitting cross-legged in my chair so that he won't. Okay, sorry for my rants.
Fair?
I believe it was done in a correctional facility.
Because that's where he is, right?
That was my understanding, yes.
All right. So in the time that you go out there and you guys do this scan, that's almost 2 years after the shooting happens, right?
I'm not aware of when the shooting happened, sir. If you give me that date, I could tell you because the scan was done.
January 15th, 2020.
Okay, that's a correct statement, sir. Yes, the scan was done in November of 2021.
There's no reason to believe that somebody would gain weight inside of jail, right? You have no reason to believe that.
I have no knowledge either way.
He's not out of custody, still eating that record deal food. He's in there eating what's given to them by the jailer, right?
No, sir. He's eating whatever they've put on his books for commissary because nobody who can afford to eats what they give them. We know this. Why? Well, because Sarah Boone, Wade Wilson, we know these things. No, I would agree. Like jail. So, I did teach you guys about ear furnishings. This is true. And I agree with you, Kelly. If I was a juror, I would probably think this attorney has nothing legit to challenge. He's just, yeah, sorry for my rant. I apologize. The click to add title still being in the presentation loses a few points from Gryffindor for me. You guys are too much. All right.
I would assume so. I have no knowledge as to food service within the correctional facility.
Now let's go to
Dude, I haven't been to jail. I don't know.
slide 27. The comparison that you did. Now, medical examiner testified yesterday. You as an expert, did you catch that testimony?
No, I did not.
All right. So Charles McCormick, at the time of his death, was 143 pounds. Is that your understanding?
That's not my understanding. I did not know the weight of any individual in this case.
All right. So the guy on the left is 143 pounds. You'd agree that he's roughly the same size, mass, or at least close to the shooter on the right.
I'm sorry, counselor. I did not do a mass analysis of the individuals or take the weight of any known or deceased individual. I just don't know any weights.
And I'm giving you the information right now. That the two people in this, K1, who's Mr. McCormick, and Q1, who is the shooter, we know, it's known, that the weight of Mr. McCormick from the doctor is 143 pounds. You'd agree with me that the shooter is not appear to be 100 pounds heavier than Mr. McCormick?
What's the grounds? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Could you restate the question, sir?
Yeah. We know K1 weighed 143 pounds on that day. Q1, the shooter next to him, that person doesn't look to be 100 pounds heavier, right?
Again, counselor, I did not do any weight analysis. This data is not appropriate for weight analysis. I have no grounds to answer that question, sir.
I'm not asking you to do this in-depth analysis. I'm asking you, both as an expert, but as a human being with common sense, the guy on the left is 143 pounds. Are you telling me the guy on the right is 100 pounds heavier than him? Wasn't answered.
I think the answer was I don't know, so I'm going to sustain the objection.
Mr. Latham, was it I don't know or I can't answer that?
I am here as an expert on body morphology and a weapon comparison, and I have done no work to assess the weight of any individual, and I don't think I'm qualified and in position to make any assessments about anybody's weight in this data.
All right. So let's go over to height. You have on here the K1 was 5'10", right?
That is correct.
Now that was the measurement that was given to you from the medical examiner's office.
That is correct.
Now that doesn't factor in the 1-inch shoes that Mr. McCormick would be wearing. The sole of the shoes would add a little bit of height, right?
Can I refer to my notes real quick? I'm not aware of it.
Let me ask you the question. Let me back up here. The information that you get from the medical examiner's office, when they measure height, they're not doing it with somebody's shoes on.
No, they're not. They're doing it with the bare foot.
K1 is wearing shoes,
That is correct.
and that would add some degree of height.
That is correct.
The sole of the shoe.
The sole of the shoe add to the total height of the individual. That is correct.
Now you do this comparison in between K1 and Q1 to say, quote unquote,
Good night,
he's at
Free
least
Michigan.
as
Thank you
tall
for
as
sticking
Mr.
around.
McCormick.
That is correct.
What if I were to tell you that yesterday the medical examiner testified that the 70 inches, the 5'10", was just an estimate?
That would not surprise me.
In that I asked him the question, could he have been 5'9"? Answer, yes. Could he have been 5'11"? Answer, yes. So on here, on this exhibit that you have going to the jury, you can't say that Mr. McCormick with the inch shoes and a potential of an inch shorter or an inch taller was exactly 5'10". That's an estimate.
Correct. That is an estimate. That is correct.
Within a range of a couple of inches.
That would be a fair assessment. Yes.
All right. Now, in the comparison here, the bodies are in motion. They look to be the same distance away from the camera, but each one of them is in a different tight motion.
They're in different positions in a similar bend to the major joints, but they're in a similar position. Yes.
When the body moves, it drops down, right?
Yes. During the gait and stride, the height of the individual can change.
And you can't say that based on their body posture, the way that their muscles are contracting, the joints are bent, that they're at exactly the same degree of drop.
I would agree with that. They're not in the exact same positions.
Now, let's talk about Q1.
So Larry Powers says, and I know I can put comments up on the screen, but I'm tired. This attorney is really beating a dead horse over this height thing. It's as if he thinks he can prove his client is an inch shorter or taller is innocent. Right. I mean, so we saw the three different, if you look at the three different individuals that are charged here, right? Butta, that was the driver, he testified. We watched him way back when I first started. He never got out of the car. Scotty, he also never got out of the car. ATK Scotty or KTA Scotty. At this point, I don't remember. He's a very small individual compared to ksoo, who was at least 6 feet tall. So, and I have no idea Psychosaurus Rex because I don't watch all trials in Florida. But apparently it is.
Excuse me.
HDMI. I'm getting it. Oh, my screen's not on.
I agree, Kate Tally.
There we go. All right. So, Mr. Latham, what I have on the left is your slide 37. You recognize that, right?
Yes, I do.
And on the right, what I have is a still photo from the dash cam. Now, you can see from the hedge, the photo that I have is a few frames before. And the reason why is because your analysis, the one that you have, everything is past the hedge. All right. So, and we'll go back over and I can show you, but in your example, you only show the body once it's moved past that hedge. But I want you to look at something here. On the right, there's something up underneath that hood, right?
I would assume so. Yes.
You can't say where the crown of the head is.
No, I cannot.
You can't say whether that adds an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, right?
That's correct. I cannot assess that.
All right. Now on the left, with your overlay, now the overlay, the yellow thing, that is the model that you created based on the scan of Mr. Robinson, right?
That is correct.
In the scan of Mr. Robinson, he had no shoes on, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And he had no clothes on.
Could you restate that, Counselor? Could you restate your first statement, please?
Of course. And it wasn't fair, so I need to clarify that. The shooter was covered long sleeves, pants, and you don't know what was underneath. Fair?
That's correct. That's a fair statement. Yeah.
When Mr. Robinson was scanned, he was wearing an Under Armour workout shirt and workout shorts.
That is correct.
No shoes on.
No shoes on. That is correct.
Nothing on his head.
Nothing on his head other than his hair.
All right. Now, in your overlay, the model, the yellow outline of Mr. Robinson, nothing on his head, no shoes.
Do you guys remember what he said the margin of error was on this? From earlier pop quiz? Anyone? Alexa says I don't wait long enough for anyone to answer the questions I ask. Clothes in public are good. So he wasn't wearing any clothes. Everyone was wearing clothes. Correct. They were wearing clothes. He's trying to argue that, no, great Gams. Thanks for your answer. It wasn't that small. I think if you Psychosaurus Rex. I majored in psychology. Statistics was a nightmare for me. So he said his margin of error was like 1 inch. And this guy is basically arguing an inch or 2. I think this is ridiculous. I'd be mad. If I was a juror, I'd be mad.
Shoes, not the same amount of clothes, is the same size as the shooter wearing shoes adding 1 inch, wearing clothes with you don't know how many layers.
1 inch
in the head, the top of
error.
the yellow line. Again, Mr. Robinson, when you make that model, doesn't have anything on his head, is at the top of whatever's under that hood. You see that, right?
I'm a little confused, counselor. Can we clarify? The image on the left is not the scan of K2. That is the kinematic model overlay to verify the model. That is not the scan of. We did not take the scan of any individual and place them back in the video over Q1. What is represented on the left is actually the kinematic model itself to assess the joint position of that model for this particular frame. That model on the left is not K2.
Is your testimony that model is not created by the scans that you made?
The model that was...
Let me withdraw that and re-ask it for you so it's crystal clear. You have Kip Stavro, you have Mark Johnson that come all the way down here to scan all the people, right?
That's correct.
Then Mark Johnson makes the kinematic model.
Based on the camera match overlay from the Q1 images only.
You lose me with all the science jargon.
They went down, they did the scan. When we took the video and we laid it over the 3D point cloud, we only used the video camera match overlay that stitched together 2D, 3D to generate that kinematic model of Q1. At no time did K2, 3, or 4 were they used for the purpose of generating that kinematic model.
So explain to this jury, what is this yellow line then?
The yellow line is the outline of what they call the skin of the model. When we generate these models, we identify it as a humanoid, so the major joints are in this model. And then the joints are moved to match the appearance of the CAMH overlay frame. The yellow line is the outer boundaries of that, so we can see how well that model fits that particular frame. Then we go to the next frame and repeat that process.
I'm with you now. What you're talking about is, what you're really looking at is where the joints are.
It's not only where the joints are, because this is what we call, here's another term, iterative process. You go to the first frame, you develop the model. Then you go to the second frame, and that model carries over to the next frame, and you move the joints. It doesn't mean that you can lengthen or shorten a given angle.
Hear me out.
Yes, sir.
So I want to make sure to this jury, you're not saying that is an outline of the body of Mr. Robinson matched up against a shooter. You're not saying that.
Absolutely not. It is not.
But you created this model based on where his joints are.
Where the Q1 joints were on the camera match overlay frames.
Again, right over my head. What I'm asking you is this yellow model, is that in any way influenced by the joint placement of my client, Mr. Robinson?
No, it is not.
So then what's the relevance of this? How is Mr. Robinson being analyzed here?
The relevance is we have an unknown individual depicted in a video. We have 3 individuals that we have the luxury of getting very detailed data from those individuals. The individuals in this video, both the decedent and the Q1 individual, we never see them standing up. The power of the body morphology analysis is If we model the Q1 individual correctly, repeatably, accurately, in the 3D space at scale, we can put that model in any position we want, including standing upright, feet together, feet apart, feet very, very apart. That allows us to go back into the laboratory and take the video data once we confirm the model matches, and then take any scanned person on the planet and do an analysis in any position. In traditional height determination, the subject of the evaluation must be standing relatively erect.
Makes no sense.
We must be able to see the feet, knees, hips, crown of the head. In this case, I can't see the...
Did that attorney just say makes no sense? Squeegee, sir, you're going to have to... The admissibility of this goes to the same. So Florida, what are we on? Are we on Fry or Daubert this year? So you know what the admissibility of expert testimony is, right? You watch more trials than anybody all day, every day. It's got to be, it depends on whatever standard Florida is currently under, which since I graduated from law school in 2014, I think it's changed at least 3 times. We've got it has to be peer reviewed. Somebody help me here because I can't remember all the things. But how is it any less admissible than cell phone location data? Right? They're analyzing images. I mean, I'm not saying... I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying because I'm just so tired. I'm sorry. There were motions filed, there were hearings held, the judge made a determination that it was admissible. I guess we're on, Psychosaurus Rex says this year we're on Daubert. Okay, so right now we're on the Daubert standard for the admissibility of expert testimony. I don't remember what that is right now off the top of my head, but basically they would have had a motions hearing on it, or a evidentiary hearing, or some kind. Scotty, what kind of... We would have had a hearing, right? And I know that the defense objected to it, and that the court ordered not only that they pose for the scanning, but also that the testimony was admissible. And I know that the defense had a standing objection, I think, to it. So you'd have to go back and look. I hear you have a YouTube channel called Trial TV Live. So you might be able to find it and watch it. I'm just saying. Psychosaurus Rex says Daubert is testability, peer review, error, and is it accepted by the field? Good job, Psychosaurus Rex. And Squeegee says fair. Data is data. This seems more manipulative right now, at least. I think what he's trying to say is how is it relevant? I don't understand that. Agree, Squeegee. The cross or the test or the testimony? Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I'm just playing this.
Crown of the head of Q1. They're wearing a head covering.
They're
in a
baiting
running
me.
position, so I never see this individual standing relatively. They're not
Trolling
walking
me.
through the
He's
scene
trolling me.
where we can see at some point their feet are close together and they're in a relatively stable position. Here they're running. The only way to forensically and scientifically evaluate the overall size of this individual was to generate this kinematic model and in 3D space stand it up. Then with that Q1 model stood up, we have very accurate, very detailed data of 3 individuals. We then placed those side by side. That was the final slides where you have the Q1 shooter in the running position. You then have the Q1 model, and then we have K2, 3, and 4 standing side by side.
All right. So we've explained to the jury, this is not you trying to say that it matches up, but you took this model that you made, and then you compared it to the scan of my client.
That is correct.
Okay. And you can say within a certain degree it could be him.
It's possible. Yes, it could be.
All right. Not beyond a reasonable doubt.
I don't have any data to assess any strength of that relationship.
All right. And what you're looking at, you're not looking at the overall mat. You're not looking, you know, does a shooter have a belly? Does my client have a belly? You're not looking at that.
No, we're
So, thank you, Squeegee. Kelly, the left model and the right side image, this is a defense slide. This is not from the expert. The defense made this. Alexa says I was swearing at the computers. We watched this testimony. I'm not saying you guys don't have valid points. I'm not saying that anybody's point here is not valid. I'm taking Squeegee's bait, which he's playing with me because he knows I'm tired and I'm cranky. And Kelly, like I said, this particular slide is made by the defense. So he's taken a slide of his choosing from the state's presentation and added an image still from the video, as far as I understand it.
particularly in this exam, we're looking at the large bowing joints and, hips, knees, ankles, shoulders. And again, the head was in there, but not as a reference point because, again, in Q1, we cannot see the crown or top of the head or where the hair ends or begins. And even if there is hair.
You're not taking a look, for instance, the shooter on the right. Your Honor, if I can be crass, he ain't got no butt. It's flat. Right?
Because his pants are halfway down.
The anatomy of that individual is the anatomy of that individual depicted in the image.
But you didn't have your experts go, let's take a look and see if that's consistent with Mr. Robinson, right?
No, I did not.
All right, but what you're looking at, Mr. Robinson, stand up here for me. What you're looking at is where his elbow is, right? Where his wrist is, right?
Correct.
Where his shoulders are.
Correct.
Hips.
Correct.
Knees.
Correct.
So to exclude anybody that's roughly the same high as Mr. Robinson, you'd have to scan all of those people, right?
That would be the most accurate way to do it, to give apples to apples comparison of the protocol that we used. Yes.
Sitting here today, you couldn't exclude me as a shooter.
Without doing the exam and putting you through the same protocol that everybody else went through, I would not be comfortable opining about your relationship to any of this.
Now, last thing, with respect to my client and his joints and all of that, there was nothing unique about it. He doesn't have a third arm, an extra knee.
Not that I'm aware of.
It's consistent with a human being.
It's consistent with a bipedal human being.
Now, well, you say bipedal. We're all bipedal.
Some individuals only have one leg, some individuals have none, so I would classify them as non-bipedal.
Okay, so at best, what you can tell this jury is that the shooter was a human being with both legs, right?
Correct.
Could be white, could be black, could be other.
Race is unknown, that is correct.
Could be male, could be female.
Gender is unknown, that is correct.
Could be heavy, could be average.
Weight was not assessed in this examination, that is correct.
Could be 5'9", could be 6'3".
The height of the individuals in this exam were not evaluated in a forensic manner.
All right. Your Honor, if I could have one moment.
Okay.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Redirect.
You can exclude viewers with or in Dominic Corner.
That is correct. They're excluded from the body morphology exam. Hakeem Robinson was not excluded from the body morphology exam results.
All right, may this witness be excused?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Latham. You're excused and free to go, sir.
All right. I can't believe I had to sit through that twice. So what do you guys... Okay, so I get it that we're not sure how I feel about it being admissible. But what do you think about this? This kind of technology evolving. I mean, I imagine that when DNA first came out, they were you guys are killing me. I would imagine that when DNA, I don't remember because I was in, I don't know where I was, but I wasn't watching trials. I imagine that there was, a great deal of argument and whether that should be admissible and whether it was reliable. I mean, we see technology doing things like driving cars or helping park our cars or parking our cars. So is it unexpected that we're going to start to see more and more of this type of a situation? I don't know. It's just something I'd never seen before, and I thought I would show it to you. You guys are too much. It's, I'm not saying that there aren't expert arguments, all of that, there's all the things, right, to be made. But how, I guess my question is, how is his testimony, or how is this worse than what they allowed in Karen Reed with the freaking snow blowing the evidence away and collecting it in solo cups and using footage of an alleged, the car reversed in the Sallyport video thing, right? Like, I don't know. Trial TV Live says Squeegee is cranky. So am I. Psychosauric Rex says, how quickly will AI take over this area of the legal system? I know nothing about AI, just trying to be part of the convo. I actually had, I have a lot of concerns about AI, namely that part of it's coming from my job. One of my attorneys was like, oh, hey, I got in a subscription. We can just dump this, these long PDFs in and it'll summarize it for us. I'm like, I get paid to do that for you, right? Like, are you coming for my job? And then another attorney's like, oh, we can use AI to make transcripts of this. And I'm like, I get paid to watch that and, make you the points from the thing. So I'm a little bit concerned that some of the tasks that I get paid to do are going to go away because it's easier for the attorney to just use AI than it is for them to file a motion with the JAC to get me paid to do what I do. I don't get to do a lot of investigation. I've said that before. The cases that come to me, they're on their third attorneys at a minimum. It's rare that I get a case that happened within the last 12 months. I am chasing discovery. And man, the Folio discovery is just giving me nightmare. Well, I don't sleep, actually. If you want the truth, is I stay up at night and I work on the Folio discovery because it is that much of a tangled mess. And there is so much of it. They're letting old cases from Jacksonville come into that trial. I'm worried about AI for a lot of things. And I think we all should be concerned about AI for a lot of things. So, the future is scary to some extent with what technology could do. I mean, think about it. I think about it sometimes. It was a big deal when I was a little kid to get a TV in my room, like a little Sony television or something. And we had to use the paper TV guide to pick out what we were going to watch or to see what we were going to watch. And I lived out in the country, so we didn't have cable, which sucked. And now I'm sitting in Tampa, Florida, in front of a computer, and anybody anywhere with an internet connection can see me or hear me if they so choose. There's only 14 of you who so choose at the moment. But think about that. I'm going to be 52 shortly. And think about, for us, those of us who are, generally in the Gen X range, how far technology has come in our lifetimes, right? And the fact that people are being born today that will never touch a regular like this is a phone. Does this resemble anything like a phone that you grew up with? No. So I'm not surprised by this kind of technology. I just found it to be really interesting. Apparently, the jury found all the pieces of the technology as a whole. So we're talking social media, Instagram, excuse me, song lyrics, stuff from. We have the surveillance video of the shooting. There were so many pieces of media, I guess, that were used as a part of this trial. I think it makes for a fascinating look at the direction of where things are going. I tell you guys every week, your phone's going to tell on you, their social media is going to tell on you. You're telling on yourselves. I know Bruce Rivers calls it self-snitching. I try not to use other people's phrases. It's the information is out there and the technology is available. So it's novel to us today. In 10 years, will it be completely accepted and not questioned at all? I don't know. You guys tell me. Let's see. So, Larry says, I don't know, Sim. DNA is one thing, but this guy couldn't really attest to anything other than it was a bipedal human being. Seems like there needs to be more study. Okay. TJ says, I think we'll see more of it. Larry says, wait for the first AI lawyer. Alexa says, AI is definitely a chat for another day. Kelly says, you could perhaps use AI to search terms. I use AI. I'm not saying I don't use AI. Alexa says, don't cause Sam to spiral. I need her brain. Yeah, I do have to work tomorrow. I have to work every day. AI will only take space from CCTV to cell tower to SIM to SM to everything. Attorneys would have to know what and how to ask, though. Psychosaurus Rex, there's a very dark side to AI. I agree with you 100%. It's scary, I think. Do Android attorneys lie, or do they need more grease? That's a very specific reference, Psychosaurus Rex, which is, you guys are too funny. Black rotary phone. Yeah. We hold more tech in our hands than all the Apollo missions combined. That is perspective, Squeegee. Larry says, I miss the days when you could slam a phone down and have it ring preceded by a long string of expletives. I loved it. Who misses slamming the phone down and it making that ding, ring sound? Oh my God, I loved that so much. I loved that. Yeah, it's not the same. Like, do you really want to throw your $1,000 phone across the room? I mean, I don't, because I don't pay for the insurance on the phones. Also, I need a new phone, but like, there's no satisfaction in hanging up on someone from an iPhone, I think, personally. All right, you guys. It's 11 o'clock. This is my longest stream, I think, ever. Thank you if you stuck around. For those of you that forced me to be here, I love you so much. Thank you. I'm glad I got to share this lovely experience with you. But I'm done, and I'm going to go to bed, and I will see you not this week, but the week after. I hope you will remember to like, subscribe if you haven't, share the video, share the channel, maybe become a member, and stay safe out there. Be safe out there. Bye, guys.